All right, what's up, Speak True Sports? I'm Bert. I'm here with Tay. Today we're talking about Odell Beckham Jr. and what the heck is going on in Cleveland. Uh, now, this kind of all started well, it's been kind of an ongoing thing throughout ever since he got to Cleveland, right? I mean, there's been a lot of drama happening where Odell's been really angry about not getting targets. He feels like he's getting open more than he is, or more than Baker thinks he is. And what kind of brought it up this year and kind of started culminating this recent train of events is that LeBron James, it started with LeBron James tweeting free Odell, or basically talking about how Odell is going to come back to form. He's going to be unleashed. Then free Odell started trending. And then somebody made a video, which I'll probably, if I remember, I'll link it in the description, where they have a video of Odell Beckham like every single time he got open this season and just wasn't targeted or wasn't like thrown to correctly. It's a very long video. I'll say that. And Odell Beckham Jr.'s father, Odell Beckham Sr., he posted that video on Instagram and was talking about how like this is what they won't tell you, like this is the behind the scenes, like this they're trying to change the narrative and stuff like that. Like this is what they do. And the day after that, Odell Beckham showed up to practice. He was ready to practice, fully healthy. They excused him and told him to go home. Odell was like, okay. So Odell went home, and then it kind of came out later that Kevin Stefanski talked to the team and basically told him that Odell Beckham's not going to be part of the team anymore, or at least from this moment on. The sentiment was that he's preparing them for them to be without Odell for the rest of the year. This is huge.
This is heavy. This is heavy, man. Yeah. I would say for once, this is not Odell's fault. I think that there's definitely something going on internally that we don't know that we don't know about. There's something going on in that locker room to where Odell's just not getting the ball. Bringing up the video again. If you guys go ahead and go watch that video, you can go find it on Odell Beckham Sr.'s Instagram. I think he posted a full video. You can go find that video. You can watch it yourself. There's been plenty of times this season where Odell's been open, and there's been plenty of times this season where Odell's just having bad balls thrown to him because just Baker is not hitting him on target. I don't know if it's a chemistry issue. I don't know if there's something internally going on, but there's definitely something going on that we don't know about between Odell and Baker Mayfield. Yeah. I would say that this is going to be a big thing to another big piece to his offense, and that's Jarvis Landry.
Yep.
I remember there was an episode of The Shop, LeBron James' show, or was it The Shop? No, it was I Am Athlete podcast, actually. It was I Am Athlete podcast, and he's there talking about how the GM personally called him and said, hey, you want your boy to be a part of the Cleveland Browns? And he's like, what kind of question is that? Of course I do. Bring him in. So the GM goes in, he makes an international call and calls Odell while he's in Paris. He tells Odell, hey, do you want to be a Brown? And Odell's like, yeah, I want to play with my brother. Of course I want to be on the Browns. He says, okay, I'll give you a call back. He calls Jarvis Landry. He says, hey, deal's done. Call your boy, celebrate, have fun. We're going to make this work. Well, this ain't working, and you're breaking your promise. And, broken promises, it causes more turmoil, and it's only going to cause more problems for this team. I think this might cause an outrage from Jarvis Landry, and I think it could. I'm not saying it will, but knowing how he is and knowing how close he is with the Odell and knowing their relationship, this could result into Jarvis Landry demanding a trade, or possibly demanding to be released from this team too, because he just doesn't want to be a part of it anymore. He tried to make it work as well. He tried to be there to turn the franchise around, and it's just going back to where it used to be.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, I think Odell kind of started the issues and the drama and the problems when he first got there, because I mean he was going crazy. He was going mental on Baker and just on the locker room. He was yelling at people on the sidelines. He punched like a field goal thing, and it came back and hit him in the head. I think ever since that moment, I feel like he's really humbled himself throughout these past years, throughout these injuries he's had, and I think it's there's like something going on with like Baker kind of feels pressured to throw to Odell, and maybe tries to do too much to try and get him the ball to make him happy. But also Odell, he doesn't want to be forced the ball. He just wants to be thrown to when he's open, and he is open a lot. It's a very complex issue. And another thing is that they've both been injured somewhat often, Baker and Odell, and they've missed a lot of time. They haven't been able to build much chemistry, and from right now, from what we're seeing, there really is just no chemistry between these two.
Absolutely not.
Yeah, I think Baker has more chemistry with Donovan Peoples-Jones than he does with Odell Beckham. Like that's
where it's come to at this point.
Yeah, and they're not even on the same level. Like, let's be honest. Another thing I have a problem with is that the offense is kind of not setting up Baker for success. Baker is 26th in the league in passer rating, I believe, or is it QBR? Let me double check this. Is in QBR, and he only has 6 touchdown passes on the entire year. And Odell Beckham Jr. He's 151st in receptions per target, which is abysmal, and 139th in receptions per route run. So he is he's being treated like a third stringer, like a third string wide receiver.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of it is that the type of quarterback Baker Mayfield is, just for his whole career, he's kind of been a rhythm quarterback. He needs to get hype. He needs to get into a rhythm of passing the football to get to a point where he can make really accurate throws, really nice throws, and just be, killing teams through the air. And I think that the run first offense they have, while it does fit their team, because you have Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt, like obviously, you should probably go run first in terms of your offense.
Absolutely, 1,000%.
It's just not working with Baker, because Baker's kind of being thrown out of rhythm because they have to run so much. He's kind of only making 1 or 2 throws every down. I don't know. It just feels like it's not really working out. He's been doing a lot of check down passes, a lot of short passes. They're a short passing team. There's not much going on in terms of the middle of the field for them, in terms of intermediate routes. They're either deep or they're short, and then they also just run the ball a lot. They kind of need to do a little bit more than that. I think they need to diversify the wide receiver routes. Yeah, the scheme in general, just, to help out Baker and help get him into a rhythm early, as well as the running backs, so that it's something that's so tough to balance. But, I think if anyone can pull it off, I think Stefanski should be able to pull it off.
Yes, absolutely.
And I think Baker's very talented. I'm a Ravens fan, and I like Baker. Like I'm rooting
I think Baker is capable to make every throw that you need him to make on the field. I think he's just not making those throws that you need him to make. And that, like you said, it's just come from him not being in rhythm. But he's also, you got to remember, he's also playing through an injury. Yes, it's to his non-throwing shoulder, but it's going to affect him. It's going to wear on him eventually. So I think that's playing a big role into it too. But like you said, I just don't think they're using his role. They're not really fitting the offense to where he needs to be. I would say that the Cleveland Browns should. They're obviously going to be a run-first team, but I think they need to mix it up. Like you said, sometimes let's throw on first down. Let's catch some teams off guard, or they could even be a Tennessee Titans where they run the 2 tight end set, and they let AJ Brown. How they let AJ Brown get open downfield, they can let Odell or Jarvis get open downfield these play action passes, because it works that way. When you're able to run the ball so effectively, the play action works so much better that way, and they're not abusing the play action at all. They kind of just they run, short pass. There's no deep ball. There's no post routes. There's no deep crossers. There's nothing really. There's no glam to it. It's kind of just like very basic, and very kind of It's like a childish scheme. There's no really like real pizzazz to it. There's no like really like professional like, hey, we're gonna let's run this when they run this coverage. Let's run this concept when they run this coverage. They're not really doing that. It's kind of just like, hey, Baker, you got 2 reads. These 2 reads aren't open. Dump it off to the running back. Let the running back make a play. That's all there is to it.
Yeah, and I mean, I just thought of something I was going to say, like completely blanked. In terms of the Browns coaching, like I feel like they have on paper one of the most talented teams in the league. But something's kind of not clicking with this offensive line as well. I've noticed like a lot in a lot of those throws that, yeah, in a lot of those in the video where he's missing to Odell a lot. Look, some of those aren't Baker's fault completely. Some of them clearly are. Like, it's very obvious. He just overthrows him by like 20 feet. But some of them, it's like the pocket collapses, and even if Odell's open, he can't see him in that moment or from that angle, or he needs to scramble, so he can't take the time to do that real quick. And that's something that's surprising too, because their O-line was really solid last year.
Yeah.
And they were expected to be good this year as well, but they've been kind of disappointing. And that's also contributed to kind of Baker's struggles here so far. And I mean, let's be honest, I just, they're also injured. And until they get healthy, I don't think we're going to see them. They might miss
1,000%. 1,000%. Yeah.
Yeah.
I just injuries, and then the schemes they run. There's just so much going on that I think it's becoming too much for Odell at this point. He's kind of just like, I wanna go somewhere where I'll be used, where somebody will use my abilities, because I'm still a playmaker. I'm still able to make plays. In my opinion, there's no way Odell should be getting less than 5 to 7 targets a game. When Odell's going to get 2 to 3 targets a game, then it's a problem. There's definitely a huge problem. I think last week he had 2 targets the whole game, and I think he had 2 targets, maybe 3, and he had 1 catch for 26 yards. I think that was it. I mean, that's horrible. This guy he's definitely capable to make plays. He's definitely still a playmaker. He's definitely still very athletic. He's definitely still very great at route running. I think he's just not getting the ball in his hands to make plays when they need him to.
Mm-hmm. I mean, even coming from me, like, I think Odell was a little overrated, but even still, he's still better than this. He's still a very, very solid wide receiver, even if you think he's overrated. And he should be getting better balls from Baker Mayfield. He should be being used more in the offense. It's just something it's going to be hard to fix. And another thing, this is what I forgot to talk about earlier. This coming out through Baker Mayfield's dad is what prompted all this stuff to happen. It's coming right from Baker Mayfield's mouth. He's saying this to his father. His father's just the one who just put it out into the world.
Yeah.
But you can tell behind closed doors, Odell shares those sentiments of, like, he definitely still feels like he's open, but he's not being childish about it like he was when he first got there and throwing fits on the sidelines. He's being humble. He's keeping to himself, and he's just telling his family and telling people close to him, and they're putting it out in the world. That's a professional way to go about it. So shout out to Odell he's matured a lot.
He's maturing a lot. Yes, absolutely.
And get him out of Cleveland. Right.
Yeah, I mean, I think at this point it's kind of just like he's telling his dad a lot, and I think his dad is kind of just fed up. He's kind of just like, listen, at the end of the day, I'm going to protect my son. I'm going to make sure he has the career that he's destined to have, and you guys aren't going to ruin his career and just tarnish his name and tarnish his receiving ability by just not giving him the ball and making people think, well, hey, maybe something's going on with Odell, that he's really not that good anymore. But when it's really that's not even the case.
Yeah. And I mean, if Landry does demand out, like we talked about earlier, this Browns team falls apart. I mean, it's just going to be Baker Mayfield throwing to a bunch of, I don't want to say nobodies, but like, no big names, no wide receiver one for them. It's just going to be Kareem Hunt, Nick Chubb, Baker Mayfield with an average offensive line right now. Like, that's they could fall apart. Like for real. They're probably gonna have to draft a wide receiver in this draft, in my opinion. And it's gonna be interesting to see what they get for Odell, because they gave up a lot to get him there in the first place.
And the worst part is they're probably going to cut him because trade deadline passed. They can't even trade for him.
I completely forgot about that.
They can't even make the trade. So at this point, it's either cut him or make him sit there and you trade him next year and you try to get some value out of it. At this point, that's what it's come to.
Yeah, I completely forgot about that. Yeah. The trade deadline's up. They can't make a trade. They're probably gonna cut him for nothing. and that's a huge loss because I think they traded a first. Did they trade 2 firsts?
Yeah.
Was it a first and a
And
second?
and
Or something like that.
and
High
then the
picks.
worst part is teams called about Odell because it seemed like they, that it was going to go in the direction where he's going to get traded.
Yeah.
And they declined all offers. They shut everything down. They didn't want anybody to trade for him because if they made it seem like, he'll help us for this playoff push that we want to make. And at this point, this relationship is getting blown up to it's getting blown into their faces.
Yeah, I heard that the Saints were pushing heavily for him. Actually, I heard a deal was almost done with the Saints, but I think they were still negotiating on some things and they ran out of time. The Saints are doing it because obviously Michael Thomas is going to be out for the rest of the year. We'll probably talk about that another time. But yeah, I mean, I don't know if they knew it was going to get to this point, but you should have kind of anticipated it, right? Like,
Yeah.
I don't know. You should have at least tried to trade and get as much as you can for him. I mean, if you would trade him to the Saints, maybe snag Marquez Callaway. He's a solid receiver. He can be decent for him. I mean, Deontay Harris is decent.
Yeah, I was just about to say Deontay Harris.
Jarvis Landry, I think he has the talent to be a wide receiver 1 for this team. So go out and grab a wide receiver 2 and a high pick. Like, do it. Or if you can. I think they should have done that.
That would have been great value for it. Absolutely.
Yeah. And I mean, I think at the time everyone would have been like, yo, why are they trading Odell? But now looking back after this has happened, it's like, okay, it was bad. The situation was bad. And they didn't.
Yeah, the deception was way worse than what we thought it was.
They didn't capitalize. And there's like no communication going on. If they didn't immediately trade him like that, like there's definitely not as much communication going on as they would like to have, probably. And that's a big indictment on the Browns franchise right there. Like,
yeah, the Browns are going to be the Browns at some point, some way. They're always going to find a way to be the Browns. And just when you think they're going to turn it around, this happens, and they lose one of their best receivers they probably have on this roster.
Yeah, and that's why I was so confused when everyone was like picking the Browns to either make the Super Bowl or win the division. I was like, yo, calm down. It was 1 year and it was like 2 games, like against the Steelers in the playoffs and against the Chiefs, which they lost. The rest of that year, they were losing the average teams. They were losing the good teams. They were beating up on worse teams. And this year is only going to get harder because everyone in the AFC North has a much harder schedule now. So the entire time I was like, yo, relax. I didn't expect the Bengals to get up here, but I thought the Ravens would be. I'm probably biased, but I thought the Ravens would win the division. But I thought the Browns would be second. They had the talent to be second.
Yes, absolutely.
They just haven't. So much going on there, and now they're losing a piece that could help them.
Absolutely.
It's gonna be tough. And now they're the bottom of the AFC North with, I wouldn't say a lot of hope to make it to the top anymore. I think the Ravens and Bengals are solidified, probably gonna be 1 and 2. And then they lost to the Steelers 10-15.
Yeah.
That was a big loss for them.
Yeah, that was a win that was much needed because that could have helped them even, slightly sneak in to possibly making that second spot if the Bengals tend to, just fall off the map.
Yep. Yeah. Anyways, I think that's all I got to say on this topic. Do you have any final thoughts?
No. I'm part of the Free Odell campaign. Odell, go get paid. Yeah. Go do what you do. Go be a great athlete. I'm definitely supporting him leaving Cleveland for 1,000%.
As a Ravens fan, I'm glad they didn't trade him. Cut him. Get him out of there. Lose him for nothing, please. Yeah. Thank you all for watching. I've been Bert.
Tay.
We'll see you guys next time. Be sure to like, subscribe, do all that good stuff. We'd really appreciate it. Turn on the bell if you want to see more of us. We're going to keep bringing you content on the NFL and the NBA. So subscribe if you're into that. Thank you all for watching. Goodbye.
See ya.